From fidget spinners to Lil Huddy to vaping, you gotta love Gen Z. I know something that I definitely associate with Gen Z is ADHD because of how many of my friends and peers have told me that they have it or they think that they have it. ADHD is defined as a chronic condition including attention difficulty, hyperactivity, and impulsiveness. You've probably heard of it before because according to CDC.gov, 6 million kids ages 3 to 17 have been diagnosed with ADHD. An informative article was written by pghr.org that states that it was found that ADHD and ADHD cases from 2003 to 2011 increased by 42%. They also showed this graphic along with the statement. Furthermore, when compared to other countries, the United States shows an alarmingly high prevalence of ADHD cases in children. While the amount of kids in the U.S. that have actually been diagnosed with ADHD has grown, we've also seen a growth in the amount of kids that have diagnosed themselves with ADHD. Alright, it's time to get into a couple reasons why all of this is happening, and why there is so much more cases in the U.S. I know I can't be the only one that's seen a TikTok or Instagram reel at some point listing 5 signs you have ADHD or what ADHD feels like. Now this would be totally fine and acceptable, and I am all for speaking out about mental health issues and showing people that they're not alone in what they have to go through. But most of these videos are not doing that at all. Many of these videos are used to appeal and relate to the largest demographic possible, not just people with ADHD. This is a difficult thing about making content for many influencers because if you want something to blow up, you need to appeal to the most people you can. A lot of information has been dumbed down or made relatable. This is why these videos show very regular things that all humans go through and then claim that they are symptoms of ADHD. This is not to say that all those types of videos are fake, but for most, the symptoms are actually things that everyone deals with. Imagine someone watches that TikTok and thinks, I lose my keys all the time. I've always felt that I had ADHD and related to these TikToks. I'm gonna go seek out medication. Or, wow, I have a hard time motivating myself to do schoolwork too. I definitely need drugs to combat this. This seems pretty ignorant, but this is how a lot of people come to the conclusion that they have ADHD and need medication. So let's say this person does go to the psychiatrist and gets prescribed Adderall. What happens to a brain that doesn't really have ADHD but is medicated for it? This is where the kicker is, guys. Imagine not having ADHD, taking medication, and then creating the actual symptoms for it as a result. If you take addictive medications like Ritalin and Adderall, then over time you will develop a dependence on it, just like any other addictive drug. Then, when you stop taking it, it would be even harder to focus than before you were medicated because of the dependence that has been built. The amount of time this lasts varies from drug to drug, but it's anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple months. To help break this idea down, I'm going to use weed as an analogy because weed is very addictive and a lot of people seem to not believe that for some reason. Let's just say you smoke weed before a meal every so often because it's difficult to get an appetite. No biggie, a lot of people deal with that. For some people, it's possible to do this in moderation, like a couple times a week, but for most, over time, as your tolerance increases, your dependence increases as well. Before you know it, you're not getting an appetite at all until you smoke, and it takes so much more than it did in the beginning to give you that same feeling. I know I'm talking a lot, so let me just get to what I'm trying to say. Taking a drug to fix a problem that you don't have will create that problem. Same thing with smoking before bed. It was difficult to fall asleep, so you smoke occasionally before bed, and it does wonders. 3 months later, you can't fall asleep unless you smoke first. Did weed fix the problem, or make it worse? Oh boy, this is not a very popular take to have. I know this because I get on every time I bring it up to my friends. Basically, TikTok, Instagram Reels, Snapchat, Spotlight, whatever it's called, YouTube Shorts, and whatever other app is hopping on the trend of short videos are bad, okay? I said it, it's bad, not good for you at all. I cannot stress it enough. Before I move any further, let me just say, I too use all of those occasionally. I'm not trying to sit on a high horse and judge anyone. I just want everyone to be aware of what this kind of entertainment is doing to them. OakParkTalon.org wrote an article pertaining to this exact topic, which discusses how over time watching hours and hours of very short clips can negatively affect our short-term memory, attention span, and concentration. The US is the leading country with the largest TikTok audience of 136.42 million, with the second most being Indonesia with 99. Did anyone else notice that the country with the most kids that watch TikTok is also the country with the most kids with ADHD? Yeah, this is exactly what you think it is. If you ever wanted to see clearer evidence of the damage that TikTok is doing to our country, then I don't even know what to tell you. This proof is so clear, a 10-year-old me would have ran into it if it was a sliding door. I really do worry about my generation sometimes. Whether it's doing a stupid dance, getting triggered over nothing, or being addicted to vaping, Gen Z is constantly ridiculed for the trends that we create and follow. In my opinion, the origin for a lot of these problems with Gen Z can be traced back to TikTok due to its algorithm, which rewards stupidity and reckless behavior, at least in our country. But that's a different video. And the content on TikTok is oftentimes misleading. An example of this misleading content is when mental health disorders are described in a way to be relatable to the average person. TikTok is also to blame for Gen Z's shortened attention span, which has led to the misdiagnosis of many children in our country and a dependence on ADHD drugs at an all-time high.